All right, let's focus on another suspect for a little while. Zay Frank's beginning to bore me, and just saying his name's beginning to give me a headache. So this is Michael Paul Maxwell. I actually personally know this guy, or knew him. He was one of my art teachers back when I was in high school. He was the first person that I contacted for help when I stumbled upon this little network. And so basically my first suspect who identified was Zay Frank. And from there I branched out and discovered some of his associates and family were in on this. And then of course, not too much time later, within a few weeks to maybe a couple of months in 2021, I contacted this guy, Michael Paul Maxwell. He's originally from Oklahoma, but when I met him, he was my teacher at a place called the Petty School. Oh, that's another student. This is like an installation piece he did. I think he really just wanted an excuse to be able to stand there and watch, young teenage girls lay down on probably blankets and pillows that he owned. So he was my teacher at the Petty School in Hightstown, New Jersey. You can see he's sitting in front of, these are screenshots from an old video of him. You can see some of his work in the background there. Here's an older piece. I have all this stuff saved properly on a couple of hard drives, backup hard drives. I have to pull all that up onto my laptop and make a better presentation. He'll probably get his own Canva video, but I figured, again, I'm going to make a little video now, just so we get some of the info out there, just in case. You never know what'll happen to me tomorrow. So, this video, as far as I can tell, this is still online somewhere. I believe I found it on like Vimeo or something. So, and then these are photos I grabbed off of Google. I have my own photos of this image in the background. You see, it kind of looks like leaves, but they're not really leaves. So this is an installation painting. It's actually several panels combined. I believe, what did I figure it out what it was? It was like 9 panels or something along those lines. 9 or 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to pull it up on my own pictures, but I actually went here. So this is the lobby of the Four Seasons in Vail, Colorado. And I actually went here specifically, well, I was already in Denver for my own purposes. And I realized that Vail, Colorado was only about an hour and a half away. And it looked like it was a pretty little town to begin with. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to drive out there. Because I knew that that Maxwell had already, I already knew that he had painted this. See, it looks like kind of antlers. And that's the point. So these symbols here are very much, they're very ancient. They're antlers, yes, but they, and there are a few other things. They are also meant to symbolize, the female genitalia. They look very, very much like these old symbols of Shiva that I found. So these are ancient devil symbols, essentially. And I found some pictures on Instagram of Maxwell painting this and realized it was in this lobby of the Four Seasons in Vail, Colorado. And then I just happened to be in Denver and was like, you know what? What the heck? Let's go out there and see this thing for ourselves. And so I did. So I've got my own pictures. I have to dig them up. They're backed up. But you can just pull these right off Google. If you Google Four Seasons, Vail, Colorado lobby. This whole image in the background behind that front desk, the check-in desk, he painted it in several panels and it's installed in several panels. So yeah, right there, if you guys want to go ahead and look up, go compare it for yourselves if you would like to before I do that work for you. Go look up really ancient symbols used that are associated with Shiva and lingam worship and stuff like that. And you will see a very striking resemblance. A lot of them look very much like deer antlers, horns, which is sort of a representation of the phallic symbols, which is devil worship. So for those of you also who don't know, let's open up. Let's go here. Come on. So this is Michael Paul Maxwell's, this is his portfolio website. And it's showcasing some of his work. This one's called Piper at the Gates of Dawn. A lot of the titles of his work are very suggestive of either the devil or pedophilia. Piper at the Gates of Dawn. The morning star is the devil, guys. The Pied Piper, the Piper at the Gates of the... And by the way, also, the devil is known to be he's the angel, was the angel of music and the arts. So Piper at the Gates of Dawn tells me very much, what it says to me is devil. It's the devil. Then we've got something here that looks like a Christian cross. By the way, the Christian cross, that symbol of the cross, long before it was ever used in Christianity, it's been a symbol. It was around a lot longer than the name Jesus has ever been uttered. All right, or anything to do with Christianity in any kind of an organized sense ever took place on this planet. This symbol of a cross has always, for a long time, thousands and thousands and thousands of years, been a phallic symbol. It's a symbol of a penis, guys. Every time I see someone walking around with a little cross around their neck, I think, penis, you're in the penis club. Why are you wearing a penis around your neck? Because that's what this symbol is. It's a penis. Now, why does it say hummingbird totem, though? So the title of it is Hummingbird Totem. Well, likely because in Christianity, their God is named Yahweh. And he's a warrior god. He's God of war. Over in South America, though, let's see. Aztec hummingbird god. Huitzilopochtli. I don't know how you properly pronounce that name, but let's lighten it up. There we go. So the Aztecs have this god they had this god who was a hummingbird god. He was also a warrior deity. There was a lot of child sacrifice associated with this deity. Guys. He was, I suspect he was kind of like the Aztecs' version of Shiva in many ways. Note how he's holding a snake there. Lots of depictions of Shiva holding snakes. Shiva holding snake. Why does Shiva carry a snake? Oh my. Mastery over death and fear. See? So these, remember how I keep telling you guys, the devil has many faces and he has many names. All right? But if you pay attention, there's common characteristics that unite these deities, where you can pick him out in every culture, in every belief system, if you know what to look for when it comes to the common characteristics. So quite often there will be a snake involved somewhere. He'll be holding a snake, or it'll be wrapped around him, something along those lines. So yeah, Huitzilopochtli was a warrior god. The hummingbird deity of the Aztecs, he was a warrior god. So is Yahweh of the Christians. The Christian God, Yahweh, is a warrior god. He's a god of war, death, and destruction. They all use phallic symbols as well. I think I already... Yeah, like I said, this cross is a phallic symbol. Maxwell also has a picture somewhere in here, floating around in here, called Chiron. I'm not sure how far back I'd have to go to find it. I don't know that I want to go that far back and take up time on this thing. Blue hole excursion, that's telling. Spots of the fawn, guys. Spots of the fawn. What is this? What are the spots of the fawn? What do they signify, guys? Youth, innocence. Because when the fawn grows up, it loses its spots, doesn't it? Also, if you pay attention, it almost looks like you can see this, what looks like a Shangri-La image in the center here, but what's surrounding it? It's as if you're looking through a hole, almost. And there's red around the hole, as if there was a tear, as if... So I'm just going to give it right to you. He's saying there's Shangri-La through a little girl's vagina. A little innocent virgin girl's vagina. Okay? The red at the corners suggests the hymen was torn. There's a fleshy, there's a flesh tone to some of the corners as well, around the corners, and some red. That's what I'm reading into this. That's what it looks like to me, is what he's saying. He's got this kind of Shangri-La image in there. He also has a nice big swath of yellow, gold, which is like the sun, which is very much the man. You know, the man has entered into the little girl's Shangri-La. That's what this picture, that's what is saying. That's what I strongly think this picture is saying. Spots of the fawn. It's called Spots of the Fawn. Innocence. Like he took the spots of a fawn and then made this painting. I'm wondering what fawn, you know, what's the name of the fawn? Whose spots did you take there, bud? Let's see if we can find Chiron. Heaven and Earth. Blind Spring. Oh, and then it starts over. Now he's got this new stuff I have to look at. So he did have this painting. I've got pictures of it saved anyway and backed up. He had this one painting called Chiron. And Chiron, for those of you who are unaware, was the name of the first centaur So the very first centaur in Greek mythology, his name is Chiron. Chiron. And if you know anything about the stories of Chiron, you know that he taught some of the Greek heroes. Now, there are the nicer, the kid-like versions, the kid versions of these stories, and then there are the adult versions of these stories. The adult versions tend to include Chiron having some, a little bit of risque type of, right there, relationship with his students. Very Spartan soldier type of relationship with his students. So Chiron has been associated with pedophilia, pedestry for a long, long, long time, since well before I was born. It's well before any of you were born. Chiron has been associated with, diddling children. So that's one. That's another, yet another piece of Maxwell's that talks about, something along the lines of the devil or pedophilia, suggests it at least. Then there's Walt Whitman. Hey guys, Walt Whitman's it's not just a bridge. Walt Whitman was this dude. He was an author. Very famous. Lots of people like him. Unfortunately, those people don't typically understand the fact that, first of all, Walt Whitman was one of the founders of NAMBLA. Right here at the top, CNAMBLA.org, NAMBLA. NAMBLA stands for North American Man-Boy Lovers Association. Yeah, Man-Boy Lovers Association. Walt Whitman was a notorious pedophile. He liked young boys. So I will let you guys do your own reading into that. But yeah, and there's a whole bridge named after him that connects New Jersey into Philly. I used to take that bridge back and forth across the river to go into Jersey or Philly all the time. Lots of people take it every single day. That's their work commute. Named after a pedophile. Named after a guy who started NAMBLA. They really need to rename that bridge. That's what I'm saying here. And it's like, why? By the way, Michael Maxwell's not an idiot. Let's just get that one out of the way. He is not an idiot. The school where he was teaching me, where he was my art teacher, is one of the best prep schools in the country. It's for very, very smart kids, very smart students, and you have to be a very, very smart teacher to teach there. He's not an idiot. He knows that Walt Whitman was a pedophile. All right? He knows that. He understands it. In the morning light, many things seem possible. This is one I haven't seen before. For those of you unaware of what phosphenes are like those little colors, blotches of color that you see in behind your eyelids. Like if you close your eyes and rub them, and you can also see them sometimes if you meditate. I have more I would like to say on that later, though, but this is just a quick overview of some stuff. Tiffany. Tiffany is also kind of another word for Shangri-La. I mean, it's a name, but it's also, that other beautiful place. Did you take Tiffany's spots too, buddy? Phosphenes, Untitled 2. Yeah, so Chiron's not on here anymore. It doesn't look like it. Maybe we can pull it up. I know I have the picture saved, but Chiron. It's gonna take more searching than I probably have time for with this video. But it's out there. I've seen it before. I've seen it on Google Images. So, yeah, I think I've given enough of a little overview. Oh, and let me just break down for you guys really quickly why. One of the reasons why Maxwell is a suspect of mine. So, like I said, I contacted Maxwell. I contacted him because I knew him from high school, and I knew that he was really into occult, esoteric type, symbols and all that stuff. And he was one of the few people I've ever met who knew a lot about it and was really, really into it. And I figured it was probably, he's almost certainly a member of, OTO and Freemasons and such like that. And so I wanted some advice and or to be pointed in the direction of more information for my research into this network of people that I strongly believe engage in child rape, child abuse. And so the back and forth that Maxwell and I had over email was very strange. It didn't feel like him at all. It was him, but it felt like he was not being super forthcoming. It felt like he was he had a secret. I have very good gut instincts, very strong gut instincts, and very good intuition. And I started to feel like he was not being on the level with me and being a little cagey. And then I started going back to his website and actually really looking at his artwork. And I started to make note of some of the stuff that I just showed you. Walt Whitman and Chiron and all that. And I was like, wow, okay, so pedophilia, devil, pedophilia. Lots of... And I realized oh, you know what? Just as likely that Maxwell got sucked into this cult as well, because he's almost certainly a member of Freemasonry, of OTO. And I do think that this cult is an inner circle within those types of secret societies. So I think that the members of this cult probably have membership in one or multiple other secret societies. So I was not a hard bet to make that Maxwell got sucked into this cult as well. Especially because I do think that he probably harbored some inappropriate. He had some inappropriate attentions towards some of the girls when I was in school. I feel like if he could have gotten away with it, he would have, and he might have even gone for it with some students that I'm not aware of. But anyway, and he even his girlfriend and then a chick he eventually settled down with, his girlfriend at the time, who was my English teacher. And then this other chick who I've found that it looks like he eventually settled down with, his type is short, petite redheads, it looks like. Little girls, petite, little tiny things. So yeah. But the real thing that tipped me off, the real thing that gave him away was after I started emailing him and I sent him a very rudimentary PDF of some of the very beginnings of my research. I noticed, I realized that he probably went onto my website as well, and I wanted to see where he was logging in from. So I went onto my Google Analytics account that was connected to my old website. And as soon as I contacted Maxwell, Google Analytics told me that I suddenly had a whole bunch of people pouring in, checking out my website from all over the place. From very suspicious locations. And most of them were settling on the one page of my website that had mostly a bunch of pictures of kids, little kids. It was the digital photography section. And it had a bunch of pictures of little kids. Mostly, like, a lot of them were my family, like my nieces and nephews and younger cousins and stuff. But yeah, out of all like the cool content I had on my website, because it's a portfolio website, I had cool paintings, I had digital illustrations and stuff. The one page that they all settled on was the page that had a bunch of pictures of children. All these random people out of nowhere suddenly flooding my website, my portfolio website, immediately after I contacted Maxwell. And I'd had that website up for like a decade, and almost nobody ever went on that website. And then suddenly all these people started going on the website. So anyway, yeah. So Michael Paul Maxwell, as I said, this dude is definitely one of my bigger suspects, and it's been a while coming. I really should have been focusing on getting content out there about him, and not giving Herr Frank so much freaking time that he doesn't deserve. All right, I'm going to end this one. This was just a quick little overview of some stuff I wanted to get out there. I'm sure I've mentioned some of this in the past in some previous videos, but it's been so long ago. Like, we're going to have a little refresher, and I'm going to start on the Canva video project for Maxwell as well. I'll kind of work with that alongside the one I'm already making for Zay Frank and his family. Alrighty, guys. So again, go check out Maxwell's, go check out some of his work. Check out some of the symbols that he plays around with in his work, and start researching how they date back. They can be traced back to phallic symbols, ancient phallic symbols, and symbols of Shiva, and these different faces of what's essentially the devil. That these guys, like the big walking, talking dick in the sky, is what these guys worship, all right? The big phallus in the sky. They're gay. They're super gay. They love the big penis. They love it. Okay? Do you hear that, Max? Zay? Gay. All right. I'm going to leave it there. I got other stuff I got to do tonight.